Some people using runes believe you should only ask about issues, but others regard it fine as to ask questions, whatever you want. Keep your questions or issue clearly only in your mind as you cast the stones. Remember that doing a rune reading is not about seeing the future or definitive answers. It's about looking for possible causes and effects and seeing potential outcomes. Runes can be made of different materials: wood, stone, pebbles, crystals, bone, or even metal. Runes are also often stored in a little drawstring pouch to keep them clean and together. You don't want to accidentally lose a rune or two. Rune pouches to store your runes in are widely available, or a small, box if you wish. A rune cloth is a piece of fabric that is used to put the runes on when you're reading them. It should be a small white cloth, and specially designed rune cloths of the right size are available. If you know where to look, just look up rune cloths, and it should tell you exactly where you need to go. Is it easy to interpret the runes? Like any form of divination or oracle reading, it can take a little bit to learn how to read them. Of course, there are plenty of books and guides available to you, but you have to be open and willing to use your intuition to assess what the stones are revealing. If you're not sure at first, that's okay. Write down details of any runes you're unsure of, and then look them up. Blank runes. Some rune sets come with blank runes. However, opinions over the validity of blank runes are mixed. Traditionalists saying that there's no evidence that blank runes. Hi, Lori. How are you, honey? You feeling better? Don't forget Tuesday. Oh, I'm good to see you. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're not still feeling the greatest. Go get some rest. Get better, honey. I need you Tuesday, okay? I hope you feel better. This weather is just insane. I'm sorry you don't feel good. So go on to bed, get some rest. You're so funny. I did afterwards, did you see? You're so funny. Don't forget Tuesday, okay? Walking Dead. Missed you this past week. Oh, I'm sorry. Go get some rest, honey. Need you Tuesday. That's our show, honey. Okay, well, you go get some rest. Lori Wood, our infamous Lori Wood, with soundtracks with Lori Wood and Rockin' with Lori and at 8 miles per hour, travel back in time. Yeah, go. Go, go, go. I need you well. Hopefully you sleep good. So go. Yep, I need you well and everything. So go on, sweetie. I'm glad you stopped by. Thank you. There's usually a 3-rune layout. Rune 1 is on the right, Rune 2 in the middle, and Rune 3 on the left-hand side. So they should be in the order of like 3, 2, 1, left to right. 1 represents the overview or your situation. 2, this one's in the middle, represents a challenge. And 3 The one on the left-hand side represents a possible course of action that could be taken. Night, sweetie. See you Tuesday. I'll talk to you tomorrow, I hope. I got one day off this week, which is tomorrow. Whoopee. And then it's right back to it. So sleep good, and hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow a little bit. So get some rest, honey. There's also a 5-rune layout. First rune in the middle, with the subsequent runes forming a cross shape around it. Rune 2 should go on the left. Rune 3 on the top. This is like the north, south, east, and west thing, okay? Crazy, man. Night, sweetie. So you have one in the middle. One should go on the left, which is west. One on the top, north. Rune 4 at the bottom, south. And, of course, on the right, east. The idea of this is a horizontal position. 2, 1, and 5 represent your past, present, and future. The rune 4, which is south, shows what elements of the problem or issue need to be accepted. And the rune to the right of the stone, east, shows what help you could receive in relation to it. Okay? There's also a 9-rune cast. So, there you go with that. There's, several ones. A lot of people, these are tools that some psychics use. That's what we're kind of going over today, the tools of the trade, basically. Like I said, your runes, your crystals, crystal balls, tea leaves even. So there you go. Like I said, they're fascinating ancient symbols that can be used for magical and divinatory purposes. And legend has it that runes were a sacred gift to mortals and were first given to the Norse god Odin, of course, after he wounded himself with a spear and then hung himself from the world tree for 9 days. The word rune means, of course, secret, something hidden, mystery. And there's plenty of evidence dating from the Roman and Germanic Iron Age. They were used for magical purposes from the beginning. They appear on amulets, where they were carved to act as charms. There was a 6th century warning on a monument from a master of the runes, warns that he has hidden powerful runes within the monument that will bring death and destruction to anyone who damages it. And for centuries, runes were only known and used by the elite few, and really only began to pass into popular use around the 80s. Around time, a whole series of books, cards, and rune sets used for divinatory and magical purposes began to make their appearance in, of course, your specialist shops. For divinatory purposes, they work a lot like I Ching, in that they're stored in a bag and drawn out one by one, or cast on a flat surface, and you have to have that rune cloth there. So there you go. So that kind of explains what runes are. There's, different styles you can use and what they're used for, but they can usually be made pretty much out of everything. There's so much more on that subject about runes. So basically, they're designed to help. Excuse me. Oh, this weather. They're designed to help you with something. They're not going to give you the answers. That's up to you. But that's like anything. You can go to a fortune teller. Say, oh, okay, say the rune, or go to a fortune teller, and she tells you, okay, this is, you're going to really get sick on such and such a date, in 2 months' time. Okay, fine. You can take that line, change your path, get so healthy you can't stand it, and you may not get sick. So in a way, it can kind of, what do I want to say? Change your habits and maybe make you even healthier. So, there you go. I mean, that could be, that could be not a bad thing. Okay, there is, what am I looking for? There's also witches' runes. And we're going to get into that here a little bit. That's a different type of rune. Okay. Witches' runes can be used for divination purposes. You kind of cast the runes in the manner of dice, casting them all at one time. And you'd only do it once. It's relevant to a reading. If it falls face up, ignore any that are face down. The leading, most important rune in a reading is the one furthest from you. If all the runes are face down, you are not meant to know the answer. You should not even attempt another reading for at least a week after that. So that's interesting. We have, so that you're basically casting them all. You're not taking one by one, you're throwing them, you're casting the runes. Let me see. Conjurings of a witch here. It's interesting with the witches' runes. So none of you have used a rune or seen them. There's the 13 witches' runes. Of course, there's different versions. They're different from the Elder Futhark runes. Witches' runes are not an alphabet. That's the biggest difference. They are instead a series of symbols that can be used for divination. There are different versions of the witches' runes. One uses 8 symbols, another uses 10, and of course we're going to discuss the one that uses 13. And I'm going to give you some examples. I wish I could show you pictures. Cast the witches' runes, you cast them. And remember, if they're face